The psalmist says in chapter 55, verse 17, even in morning and at noon I will pray. And I will cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. But note this, if you will. While folks were walking into the temple to pray, there was a position of someone else. The word says that now, at this exact time, that Peter and John were walking into the temple to pray, there was a man that was crippled from birth. And every day, his comrades, it doesn't even say his friends. And the more I look at the text, it doesn't even say that they were even friendly with him. It just said some folks carried him and dropped him off at the temple gate called Beautiful. And they put him every day in the same place to beg from those going into the temple. Wow. Let me see if I can make this a little more relevant. If you're walking up and down Lenox Avenue and you're getting ready to come into church worship at 10:30 in the morning, and somebody is laying in front of the church, every single Sunday, that's when he's laid. And they put him there. Now I thought, well, what was wrong? Why didn't they bring him in the temple? I mean, you going in, you carried me this far, why won't you carry me all the way? But knowing the history of the text, we know that before or between the court of the Gentiles and the court of the women was this Corinthian-style bronze gate with beautifully carved gold and silver inlays. It was worth more than if it would have been made of gold itself. And so there was a position that everybody had to take. Everybody was not allowed into the temple gates. The court of the women was only as far as the women could go. And the court of the Gentiles was only as far as the Gentiles could go. Which implies, but is not stated, that this man obviously was not a Jew. Or else he could have been allowed in the temple. Now, my brothers and sisters, now is an adverb. An adverb modifies a verb. It indicates manner, time, place, cause, or degree. In other words, at the exact same time Peter and John were coming in for prayer, the crippled man was being carried to the temple gate. Here comes Peter and John on the left. Here comes this gentleman being carried on the right. And they meet at the same place, at the same time, for a specific purpose. I often wonder when people come to the house of worship, why is it that they come exactly at that time? It is because God knows where you're going to be and why you should be here. You often wonder how you end up where you end up at times. Why did I get there? What stopped me from getting here at this time? How come I was delayed and I just missed the accident? It's God's provision that you just missed it at that particular time. It is helpful to note, as one writer says, that when Peter and John saw him, he asked them for money. Now, I'm aware that we live in the times that we live in, and there are people begging all the time.
Right, yes, sir.
And it is difficult to ascertain who really should you give to versus who you should not give to.
Right.
Yeah, I'm from the boogie down Bronx. I know that folk out there to play people. There used to be a gentleman when I worked down in the Times Square area. He would get dressed every day with a tie and a suit and stand on the corner and beg for money. And I would probably come to the conclusion that he might have made more money than me in the course of a year as a professional beggar. But the point is not that. The point is, this was this man's plight in life, as far as he understood it, was to be a beggar. Now, there's another position here. And that is that the Bible tells us that he was born unable to walk. He never knew what it was like to ever take a step in life. And so I would submit to you that because he never knew what he really needed, he didn't know what to actually ask for. Let me see if I can make that a different way. He never knew what he needed because he never knew what he could have. Let me see if I can put that in. When he was a little boy, he probably went to a bunch of physicians, and maybe his parents took him, or doesn't say much about his parents, but it does say he was born this way. And he probably went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "You'll never be able to walk ever." Much like the woman with the issue of blood who went to all of the physicians and spent all the money, and they told her, "There's nothing we can do for you." And so, because he never knew that he could walk, he never asked anybody were they capable of healing him from his condition. I submit to you that there are people who come to church today not really knowing what it is that they can actually get from God, because they really don't know how powerful God is in the first place. Let me put it this way. That doesn't make me better than anybody else. I just never did it. But if I never got high, then I don't know that God is able to get me off my high. Okay, all right. Maybe that didn't get you. I only got drunk once or twice in my life. Because the one time I did it, I was so stupid drunk. I was so scared afterwards, I never wanted to try it again. You understand what I'm saying? I was standing at the stairs waiting for the elevator. That scared the mess out of me. Scared the mess out of me. But it doesn't make me better than anyone else. Just because someone else struggles with drugs, struggles with alcohol addiction, struggles with marijuana, struggles with different things in life, doesn't mean that God is not able to deliver them from the things that hold them down. But if I don't know what it's like to ever have had the need to come off of it, then it's difficult for me to know to ask how to get help to get out of it. So this man is at the temple gate, laying here. All he knows to ask for every day is money, because no one has ever come to offer him anything else more than what he's ever been given. That's all they ever gave him. They walked by him every single temple prayer and gave him money. How many of us walk past people and only give them what we think they want? I would submit to you today that there are